SpotsJAM's Questions of the Week.
Is Tiger back?
Why did Mike Smith make the correct call in the Atlanta-New Orleans game?
And is Albert Pujols really all he's cracked up to be?
Sounds like we need some answers. Let's start the show.
Hello and welcome to an early edition of SpotsJAM alongside my co-host Stephen Peffer and Rob Steele. I'm Chad Satara. Gentlemen, we put them all in a basket, we shook them all up, and the BCS is exactly what we thought it would be. 2 undefeated teams are left. Well, 3 if you count Houston. And really, I didn't think that that's what it was going to be, but it happened. It is what it is. Stephen, LSU, Oklahoma State, those are the 2 teams right now.
They are, and my scenario's playing out exactly like I called it. Stanford losing. I see Oklahoma State losing to Oklahoma. Yeah, last game of the season.
Did you see Boise State losing to TCU? Seriously, honestly, I know we joke around about it, and, TCU, yeah, but did you really see Boise State losing at home for the first time this decade?
I didn't see them losing, but they're irrelevant in the national championship talk. We didn't even talk about them last
Now they are irrelevant. Now they're just a nobody right now. They're an afterthought. And my whole thought and dream of Cinderella playing for the national title, insert toilet flush here. Bye-bye, Boise State. LSU, though, they did not look too impressive in the first half against Western Kentucky. Is that a sign for things to come with their last 2 games of the regular season?
I don't believe so. I do think they have a knockdown drag-out against Arkansas, but they just came off an emotional game at Alabama. Of course they're going to be flat the first half of the next game. That's how it always goes in college football.
But it's go flat against an SEC opponent. Go flat against a named non-conference opponent. Western Kentucky. Rob, where is Western Kentucky?
Apparently Bowling Green.
You're right. We've had this discussion already. But no, Western Kentucky is a team that was a Division I AA champion a couple of years ago. They moved into one, FCS or FBS polls now, and LSU should have had their way with them from the get-go. I don't know. I think LSU...
What was the final score?
42-9.
Okay. They had their way.
At the end.
They still beat them down.
At the end. They should have done it from the get-go. I know. If I'm Arkansas, I watch that game, and come the day after Thanksgiving on November 25th, hey, if I'm Arkansas, I see it.
Arkansas has been playing good, Chad, last couple of weeks. They beat LSU 3 out of the last 4 times they've played them. Though the games in LSU, Arkansas beat down Tennessee last week, and you want to go by the whole body of the whole game. So what if Arkansas beats LSU?
Could we have a bigger mess? Honestly, the first thing we'd have to figure out if Arkansas beats LSU is who is the SEC West representative, because LSU beat Alabama, Alabama beat Arkansas, but Arkansas beat LSU.
What is the Southeastern Conference even doing with a Western Division? It's like they also have a Northern Conference. Why? Anyway, sorry. I'll shut up.
Really, the tiebreaker scenario is whoever's ranked the highest in the BCS. That being said, LSU is 1, Alabama's 3, Arkansas is 6. I know it's 2 weeks away from now. However, you've got Alabama playing against a Georgia South who's 9-1. That could actually elevate their BCS standings. Everybody says, no, it can't. They're not even an FBS team. Well, if Oklahoma State is ranked number 2 because they beat a Louisiana State, Southwest, whatever you want to call them, and they're a pretty good team, I think Alabama's case is going to increase. Alabama then has to beat Auburn, which the defending national champs, that was last year. Who's the best? Who's ranked higher? Because Arkansas is going to have a case saying, hey, we beat the number 1 team in the nation. Our BCS ranking should go up. Who's the SEC West representative?
I'm thinking
Houston.
Alabama.
Houston.
I think Alabama's in the driver's seat no matter how. The only way they're not in the driver's seat is if LSU or Oklahoma State win out. But LSU loses to Arkansas, Alabama moves up to number 2. Regardless, Arkansas might jump to 3. They might jump Oregon. They're not going to jump Bama. There's no way.
But does LSU drop?
They have to drop. They have 1 loss. They have to drop at least to number 3. Maybe they drop in front of Alabama. Their strength of schedule, it is tougher. That'd be tough to see. Because, where do the pollsters put them? Because 2/3 is with the polls. So where do they put them?
Well, that's the thing. When that game happens, Oklahoma State is on bye that week. Oklahoma State should not have any problems with Iowa State. They'll stay at number 2. If LSU loses, you would assume Oklahoma State would jump to number 1. Then it becomes a big wish-wash. Does Arkansas jump Oregon, who's sitting at number 4? Does LSU drop down below Alabama? It gets to be complicated. The whole BCS, it's great to talk about. It's great radio. It's great television. But it is not a realistic champion.
Makes a terrible movie, too.
Thanks, Rob. I've said this in the past, and I'm going to continue to say it now. If this scenario happens, if LSU loses, or if Oklahoma State loses, and there are no undefeated teams, except for Houston, but who cares about them? If there are no undefeated teams, then the BCS doesn't work.
It didn't work to begin with, did it?
Why doesn't it work?
It doesn't work because how can a human being decide that LSU is better than in Oklahoma? They've never played each other. How can somebody say that Arkansas is better than Alabama in a poll? Because if they beat LSU, you're going to have people vote Arkansas over Alabama. You know that, but you also know that Alabama put a beat down on Arkansas. How can you then put Alabama ahead of LSU, who went to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama? Why do people have a say in these votes? That's why the BCS, and I hope 2 weeks from now we sit here on this show and LSU loses and Oklahoma State loses to Oklahoma on December 3rd. I hope it happens. The BCS, boom, blow it up.
And Baylor sneaks in to take the national title.
Well, maybe not that. How about Austin Peay? All right.
Yeah.
Realist. Think of this. The elements are the human. The human are 2/3 of the votes. And LSU is 1, Oklahoma State's 2, Alabama 3, Oregon 4, Oklahoma 5, Arkansas 6. It is the same. It is the same. I can do math.
Do you disagree with those right now?
No, I don't.
Okay, so why is it not working then? Why is it not working?
Okay, that being said, and it matches. The BCS matches the human poll. But once you have everybody with one loss, it does change everything. It has to change everything. If you look at it, right now the strength of schedule for the top 6 teams, LSU is the 4th ranked strength of schedule in the nation. Arguably, they have played the best teams this year. They've beaten them all. That's why they are number 1. If they lose, their strength of schedule is still not going to drop. Are they the best one-loss team? I don't know. Oklahoma might have a say. They're number 5 in the nation in all the polls, and their strength of schedule is number 7.
Who would they lose to?
If they beat Oklahoma State, it's irrelevant.
Oh, okay, so if you lose to a team that hasn't won a game and you win the rest of your games,
Oregon lose to? All right,
LSU.
So let's put Oregon.
Oklahoma.
Oregon and Alabama both lost to LSU. Those are. Let's just say Oklahoma State loses. Let's get the Big 12 out of this picture. Let's put Oregon and Alabama. One of those has to play LSU for the national title. I'm calling it Oregon.
Okay.
How about if LSU loses 2 of their next games and we end up with Oregon and Alabama for your national title?
That would be almost as good as Boise State, Alabama. Because the confidence of Tuscaloosa is so sickening that
LSU beat down Oregon
the first game of the season.
Alabama, if they had a kicker, wouldn't even have went to overtime. But you don't play what if. But they had to take them to overtime to win. They can't even score.
Playing what ifs right now, so we do play what ifs.
Yeah. I mean, if they had a kicker, it wouldn't matter. Alabama be number 1 right now. It wouldn't be no discussion. So, Alabama went out. I mean, their last 2 games are a joke.
Oregon plays USC this week. USC is 8-2. They beat USC, which they should. Then, like Alabama, they play big rivals. They play Oregon State, where Alabama plays Auburn. And we're just playing it out Oregon, Alabama here. Because, we're just assuming that Oklahoma State's going to lose to Oklahoma. If they don't lose, then there's no sense of having this argument, but like we said, that's why we do this thing. Oregon could play in the Pac-12 championship, where Alabama could be sitting on the outside watching. If Oregon wins their last 3 games, the voters are going to remember that. And the voters who have 2/3 a say in this are going to say, let's see Oregon now on a hot streak play against LSU versus what we just saw on November 5th.
I agree with that, only because they play the championship game, and that's how the Big Ten's gotten hurt so many past seasons. They're sitting idle, and everybody's playing these conference championship games, and it helps them. And Alabama can't get into that because they lost to LSU. So of course, Oregon wins their last two and then wins conference championship. They will jump Alabama, and it'll be a rematch that everybody wants to see because people score points.
Except Alabama fans who don't want to see the rematch.
I still think Alabama would destroy Oregon like LSU did. But I agree with you. Oregon wins the Pac-12. They'll be LSU, Oregon.
Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned conference championships, and I know LSU Arkansas in 2 weeks is not a conference championship, but it is. It's the SEC West Conference Championship, if you want to get in essence. But let's project December 3rd. You've got a couple really good games projecting here. Well, right now I'm projecting LSU versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. Back of the Georgia Dome. We've talked about it. Georgia's looking good right now. Are they good enough to beat an LSU team in Atlanta?
No.
No, they're not. I know that.
Home field.
I'm the baseball guy.
Home field advantage obviously doesn't work. They got beat down by Boise State.
They were wearing their Power Ranger uniforms at the time. They might wear the real Georgia uniforms, as fans here in Atlanta keep on saying.
They lost to number 5 at the time, number 12 at the time. And then I'm trying to find another team that even has relevance that they've played. Let's see, Coastal Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Vandy, Florida with no Brantley, New Mexico State. Okay. Auburn's horrible. Auburn's not good.
You're right, well.
Okay, so Georgia hasn't played anybody.
It doesn't matter. It's one game. I agree. I don't think Georgia is good enough to beat LSU, Alabama, or Arkansas. All right, next game, ACC championship game. Virginia Tech and Clemson, it's already a given. One of those two teams is going to play in the Orange Bowl because neither one of them have a chance of jumping up into it. Does it matter?
It matters to see who goes to the Orange Bowl.
Okay. The team that they could play in the Orange Bowl, the Big 12, well, it's not actually a title game, Oklahoma State. I was looking through this and going, where is the Big 12 championship game? It's always the Big 12, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game on ABC at 8 o'clock on that Saturday night. Oh, I forgot. They only have 9 teams in the Big 12.
Well, Orange Bowl, I think, is going to be Big East and ACC. That's just like you think Big 12 is going to go down there?
You never know. They probably go to the Fiesta Bowl. The
game that nobody cares about is the Orange Bowl. It's been that way forever. They just throw the ACC and Big East over there.
But the halftime show is gorgeous.
Thanks. Hey, how about the inaugural Big Ten championship game? All right, we'll skip that one. The conference championship game that we are mistaken and that could actually have BCS implications, Houston against Southern Miss.
How's that?
Hey, Houston's the only undefeated team. Here's your BCS bowl buster. I'm just saying.
I'm listening. Why? Why are they?
Because this would be the prime example to see Case Keenum. 3,951 yards passing this year, 37 touchdowns. He has a 193 rating, potential Heisman Trophy finalist, possible winner now that Andrew Luck and Kellen Moore have lost. Yeah, you never know. That could be the showcase that either makes or breaks his Heisman Trophy chances.
I don't know. They might not even get past Southern Miss coming up this week, but let's say they run the table. They haven't even, their strength of schedule has to be one of the worst. They play, the best thing they play is UCLA.
104th is Houston in strength of schedule.
Thank you. UCLA is the best team they beat.
They play Tulsa.
Oh, I apologize.
Hey, SMU, and they're not on the death penalty anymore, so.
Well, I'm saying SMU's, they're playing decent ball this year, so they have a chance to beat them. I don't think they will.
But is Case Keenum the best player in college football this year?
If you put him into a relevant conference, would he do what he's doing now?
Probably not. What about best players? Is Albert Pujols the best player in baseball? I don't know. What do you think, Steven?
I don't know. I think we need to throw over to Rob in extra innings.